Welcome to the Time to Shine talk show. This is your host, Rukhsar Sayed, and today I'm in conversation with Aahd Wissam. She is the founder of the Leadership Advisor. Welcome, Aahd, in my show, and it's glad to connect with you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Aahd, my very first question to you is, can you share with us some of the key strategies you employ to empower leaders and drive transformative change within organizations?
Okay, so let me kickstart with saying that as a learning and development organization, I believe what sets us apart is the fact that we actually look at return on investment. I'm very particular at only delivering assignments where there is a specific return on investment. And that's what we calculate before starting any project that we take. More often than not, you find learning and development companies or training companies just providing their material and it stops there.
Yeah.
I am personally a number person, so I love to have something tangible to say, okay, this was a success or this was not so successful. That's number one. Number two, we do have a specific framework that we work with, and we call it Leap into Leadership.
Okay, wonderful.
Because our main area of focus is human-centric leadership skills, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all around what I call human-centric is soft skills, essentially.
Oh.
And so I've developed myself this framework, which has 5 components. First one being the analysis. So we analyze, and I've given it a name, which is the Powerful Purpose Planner. What I mean by the Powerful Purpose Planner is basically, if I'm going to take on a project, I want to know what's the end goal of that. So any company, any individual that is looking at engaging in learning and development has to give me the reason why they're doing that. What's the ultimate goal? What's the objective? So once we assess, we know that component of the framework, we then move on to the second step, which is the assess. And I call it the face forward framework. And what this entails is that we have the ultimate objective. We now have the job description or the person or whatever the project is. We try to find where are the links, where are the sweet spots and blind spots, basically. That's our assessment. And then only we can devise the program based on the blind spots. So we just don't come and there is a full consultation prior. And then we go to step number 3, which is the acquire stage. And I call it the learning launchpad. And basically what the learning launchpad is just acquiring the skills that are the blind spots, as we mentioned earlier. Finally, or no, but not finally, just the step before is 4th step, the apply, which is the daily disc diary. So now we'll talk about it later in more details. What you learn, you have to apply. Otherwise, what's the point in learning it? So we then coach or supervise our learners in their day-to-day job to make sure they apply what they've learned, how they apply it, what are the insights that they're getting, what are the challenges, and we discuss about it. And for that matter, I call it daily disc diary, which is the DISC stands for dialogue, implementation, coaching, and simulation and coaching, sorry. So the last stage of our framework is the reviewing the results to see
Okay.
if the first goal that we decided to go for, if we achieved it or not. So using this very specific framework, having the return on investment to aim for, that means that we eliminate the fluff.
Yes.
And we know exactly if our engagement was successful or not.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I think also transformative change and empowering comes from finding your strengths, because you have to retain those strengths as well.
Exactly. Yes.
Building on them, and then bridging the gap for your blind spots. Yeah. However, I think also something I would like to add on is that the entire journey call on some fundamental values that we have, and these are trust and transparency.
Yeah. So you said it really, in a right way, that transparency is very important. Trust and transparency. And what we do, yes, what we do, we need to apply a lot, because what we learn, if we keep on learning and we don't apply, we don't do the use of application, what's the use, of learning? Because practice is much more important. And just listening and not doing what we are learning, it's not a correct way. So you said it rightly. And Ahad, as being a thought leader, as a thought leader in leadership development, what are some of the emerging trends or challenges according to you?
Right. So that draws from what we just said about implementing what we've learned. I think let me talk about the trends to start with. The trends are, and that's just my humble opinion, there is far too much content out there. So probably the end user is confused on, where to go, what to use. So it goes from the big university names, and especially in terms of leadership development, to people like me who are just, doing their own thing in their region and so on. Now, yes, if you want to go for the certificate, or if you are into research or stuff like that, yeah, go for the big names. It's nice. It looks nice in a piece of paper, But if you're looking to actually make your hands dirty and practice in the workplace and have a safe space to
by learning
get it all, get it all out, then go for the people who were already there, who already implemented the programs, and who can really help you, because we do we call on behavior on coaching. And later on, I will also speak about blended learning. So in terms of trends, I feel, too much content. There's also now even recently, I came across coaching with AI, or AI coaching, or something like that.
Right.
Amazing, yeah. But when you are in the realm of behaviors, of leadership, because essentially leadership is about having people following you, working towards the same goals and vision as you. So how can your computer, or content delivered through your computer help you? It's just a question I'm putting out there. So don't get me wrong. I think, online learning is amazing. We use online learning as well. We have a specific platform. It's amazing for things that can be like technical skills, for example. You can, if I have to learn how to use Microsoft or Excel, or even how to read a profit and loss report, that's by all means. But when we're talking about human-centric skills, it's another story.
Yes, yes, because
Yeah,
everything can't be learned online. We have to be face to face to understand it in a much more deeper way. And
yeah, that.
yeah, that's correct.
So that was one of the challenges I thought. Yeah, and then I think the trends also. Yeah, and the trends I covered. Yeah, so the trends, and we're hearing, I think, more and more now, is the word which we've been using for the past 4 years, blended learning.
Yes, blended learning.
So yeah, blended learning is basically because not all one size fits all approach when it comes to learning. I mean, we see it in schools, we see it in all sorts of places.
Yes, yes, yes.
And because people are more and more busy as well, so having this mix and match of, for example, online workshops, group discussions, different type of interactions as well. We can be learning having a group outdoor completely in the desert, doing some
Yes,
teamwork
yes.
activities. So this blended learning has become more and more the trend, which I believe personally, I think it's really such a great thing
Yes.
because it just, removes all the traditional classroom learning that was
And
kind
yes, in
of,
UAE, they are following the blended learning method in schools at a greater rate, and the outcome is amazing. In many of these schools, yes.
yeah. And so, yeah, that was as far as the trends are concerned. Um, what else I wanted to say? Yeah, I was talking about workshops. So again, when you just go to a workshop and
Yes,
leave, I'm sure you've learned something.
yes,
Uh, the question for me, the main question always remains, if you learn something, are you going to apply it in the workplace? So that companies that is investing in your growth needs to see some return.
yes.
And for that, when we talk about soft skills, we're talking about 90 days of daily repetition for a behavior or a habit to start becoming, or for behavior to start becoming a habit. 90 days of daily repetition. So if you don't have a coach behind you, or even someone, the coach can be internal coach, and that's what we promote actually.
Yes,
We promote what we call stakeholders coaching, which is within the company. You get two or three people that will make you accountable for the change you want to have.
correct.
And these people will also watch over your shoulder to see your progress, to give you feedback, and to make sure that is if the company decides not to go with a full-time coach.
Yes.
Feedback is another important trend as well.
It is very important because for any performance, if we give feedback, even if they are not performing well, they will learn from what feedback they are getting in return, and they will try to improve a lot in the next task. So it is very important, feedback.
Yeah. So, and yeah, so the challenges, I think feedback is more of a challenge. I think we are now everywhere, actually, I thought it was specific to this region, but I've been speaking to colleagues across the world, and feedback is a big challenge in the learning and development industry. People are allergic to feedback. So I don't know. I think feedback should be seen as opportunity for growth.
Yes.
I think specifically in this region, feedback is seen, if you say feedback, it's like, oh my God, it's review time, it's KPIs, it's negative. It's a black picture. I
That
don't want
fear we
feedback.
have, most of the people have in mind. It's review time and what to do, how we'll perform
Yeah.
and all. Yes.
Whereas feedback should be, in my opinion, should be done at least a minimum by a leader, a proper leader to his direct report. He should or she should give them feedback on a monthly basis, a minimum.
Yeah.
Okay, this is, and initially it should be, honestly, it should be on the spot, really. It should be ongoing. And that promotes a culture of communication, collaboration, engagement. And if the top has such culture, then it automatically filters through, and straight away the mood of the company, the productivity is lifted up.
Yes. So, Ahad, how do you stay ahead of the curve in the terms of industry trends and best practices? And how do you incorporate this knowledge into your consultancy services?
Okay, so staying ahead of the curve, I don't want to stay ahead of the curve. I want, as I said initially, I want a curve that produces results, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think by our blended learning, is that how we're staying ahead, if we can say so, because we've been implementing blended learning quite like 4 years ago when we first opened the company. So what do I mean by blended learning in our case? Okay, online, offline. So we have specific courses online, about over 30 courses online. And we blend them with the coaching and with group sessions. That way, as I mentioned in our framework earlier, we encourage discussions, we encourage insights, we promote team learning, exchange. So I think that's how we stay ahead of the curve, I think. The other thing is probably with what I don't want to say teach, but what we present, which are the I like to call them human-centric skills. Why I call them human-centric skills is because we put people first. And the trend is that, about 75% of employees worldwide quit their job because of their boss.
That's the universal truth, we can say. Yes.
So if we can have bosses at all levels, I mean, we go from, the CEO
From regional to
the
higher level, yes.
So if we can have a manager, let's call it a manager for the sake of it, who is really putting people first. And, it's so easy. It's things like acknowledging that the person is in front of you. Things like active listening when she comes or he comes with a problem. And, really just we're talking basic things. You will be surprised about how much this changes the culture in a company. So now we are in a phase, I think, in the workplace where it's employees' workplace, which means they have the stronger hands. In general, I'm speaking. So let us look after them, because it also costs a lot of money to replace someone.
Yes.
Which is not necessarily factored in many of the organizations, but I would personally, having been the boss of many companies, I'd personally develop somebody until they reach their full potential, then keep changing that person because they're not suited, because I have not trained them, because it's costing me much more money, and I'm not gaining the loyalty. And loyalty is another factor that is extremely important.
Exactly. So, Ahad, what advice, or insight do you offer to aspiring leaders who aim to unlock their full potential and drive meaningful change within the organization? That one piece of advice.
Okay, so I feel like, okay, you're now teasing me to give my program for free. But no. Okay, so somebody who wants to be an effective leader, in my opinion, should be looking at 3 dimensions in their development or for themselves. Number 1, themselves. How are they? I mean, what are their strengths and what are their, I don't like to call it weakness, but blind spots. As me, as you know, things like time management, things like emotional intelligence, what triggers me to get uptight, angry. So it's an inwards looking, which is equally important as the other 2 I'm going to raise. So and probably for me, this is the building, the foundation block. Okay, look at yourself. What do you think you're good at? Take assessments. I mean, so you can just take an assessment. There's so many available. And the best way, again, to know what are your strengths and your blind spots, go and ask people you work for. They might not be totally open and transparent because of fear, because of many other factors. But if you just send a anonymous survey,
yes, we do help.
An anonymous survey, and you'll get the feedback.
Exactly.
Once you have that, so you need to work on that. The next step after that is your management skills. So things like, when you have a project in hand, how do you manage it? Are you able to integrate the right team members, the right departments? Develop your business acumen. Basically, it's just about developing your business acumen. So develop yourself, develop your business acumen, and to become a truthful leader, then you need to have a purpose and a passion.
Exactly.
So then you can pull people, so I call it the 3 Ps. Purpose, passion, people. You can pull the entire people with you. But again, that entails that you need to have specific soft skills, which is motivation, team dynamics, delegation, all these things, trust people. Trust is a factor that comes quite a lot. And then people will just do what they have to do. You have to trust them that they will do, but you need to give them the tools. You need to, persuasion is a big one in here in the leadership. You need to persuade them about your purpose, why we should do this, because, and it all should be aligned.
Exactly.
So the vision, the mission, the purpose, the values, everything should be aligned. So it's kind of cohesive and everybody is working through the same goal.
That's amazing. And it was indeed a fruitful session, Aahd. And I would like to thank you for joining today's amazing session and making it, worth watching. So I hope our audience will also enjoy this session a lot and learn and take a lot of, insights and takeaways from this session. So thank you once again, Aahd, for joining.
Thank you very much for having me. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yes, same here. And wishing you all the very best for your future endeavors and projects ahead.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Bye.